Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I need your help. I'm just going to put it out there. I need your help. I created a test for the VA Secretary, Mr. Collins, and certain VA employees to include the VA Rater, RVSR, Rating Specialist, and Decision Review Officer at the High Level Review. And what we need to know, did that Rater and DRO follow their guidelines as it pertains to actionable and sufficient DBQ? So if you're a veteran that submitted an actionable and sufficient DBQ per 38 CFR 3.326 subpart B, today's video, I'm going to explain this test that I want you to take and put your answers in the comment section. Okay, everyone, I am super excited about this test. This is something I have been thinking about over the past couple of weeks. And I've done a recent video, previous videos about the VA's public DBQs. And I've had some VA employees leave some not so good comments, and I did videos on that. Yes, I put them out there on Front Street. But most importantly, I've had some VA employees leave some very positive comments. Veterans, if you're filing a VA disability claim for a mental health condition, you know the process can be frustrating and overwhelming. Having the right evidence can make all the difference. That's where Tampa Counseling and Wellness comes in. They specialize in providing mental health DBQs and nexus statements, helping veterans establish direct service connection for mental health conditions or secondary service connection due to issues like tinnitus, migraines, or back problems. The team at Tampa Counseling and Wellness is passionate about supporting those who serve. They understand the VA process and are committed to helping you get the benefits you've earned. If you need expert support for your mental health claim, don't go at it alone. Contact Tampa Counseling and Wellness today. So here's the test, okay? Because we have to start holding the Secretary of the VA and certain employees within VBA, Raters, and DROs accountable as it pertains to the VA regulations, okay? So for every veteran that sees this video that submitted an actionable and sufficient DBQ per 38 CFR 3.326 subpart B, not that you think, but that you know that's actionable and sufficient. This is what I want you to do. I want you to call the VA at 800-827-1000. That's the call center, 800-827-1000. And say, hey, I received a call from LHI, QTC, whatever third-party contractor the VA used, that scheduled me for an exam, but I submitted an actionable and sufficient DBQ. And per the VA regulations and guidelines, the VSR or Rater was supposed to annotate in VBMS why they deem my DBQ and nexus statement insufficient and requested the C&P exam, okay? So when you submit an actionable and sufficient DBQ and the VA employee deems it not sufficient, they are supposed to leave a note in VBMS. So if you call the 800 number, you can be like, hey, can you go into VBMS and click on the notes link and see if the VSR or Rater, it's gonna be a good test, annotated why they felt my DBQ and nexus statement was insufficient. Now, you're gonna need some bag up. You're gonna need some ammo, okay? And they don't think that you know this, but I'm gonna share it with you. Slide number one. Here in slide number one, this is an M21-1 reference. Now, it is not the entire reference, it is the bottom of the reference, the note section. Assessing sufficiency of DBQs completed by non-VA providers. Now, you'll have some VA employees that say, oh, private doctors can't complete DBQs. Okay, so they should go back and get retrained somewhere, or just take the day off, because that's incorrect. All right. So it states in red, and this is going to help support your reasoning for this test. When a privately completed DBQ is deemed insufficient for rating purposes and a VA examination is requested as a result, claims processors must add a permanent VBMS note explaining the reason for the findings. For findings, the privately completed DBQ insufficient. Okay, the reason for finding the privately completed DBQ insufficient. They are supposed to leave a note. Now, this is part of the test. Are they doing it? How do you confirm if they're doing it? One, you know your DBQ was actionable and sufficient. Okay? Two, you're going to call the 800 number, 800-827-1000. Three, and ask the rep to look in VBMS after you receive that call from QTC or LHI or whatever, whomever called you, right? You're going to have to ask them that question. Look in the notes section. They're supposed to annotate it. Let me know if they did or they didn't. If the rep questions you, just say, hey, I was, wondering because M21 dash and giving this manual reference. But we're not going to stop there. You know me. Slide number 2. Nuggets, 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 nuggets. Here's another M21-1. Potential indicators of DBQ inauthenticity. VA determines the privately completed DBQ is insufficient for rating purposes and orders an examination, but the veteran refuses to report for the examination. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did as a rater. Now, I'm not saying you should do it, but what I am saying, if you decide to do it, know why you're doing it and what regulations help you bag that decision up. Okay, so I was rating at the time. I was trained by the VA, so there it is. I was like, nope, I'm not going because I don't know your doctor. Okay, let's keep going. Slide number 3. Authenticity of DBQs. Okay, so let's go with what's in red. If a claims processor determines that a privately completed DBQ is potentially inauthentic and the VA examination is needed, then the claims processor must add a permanent VBMS note stating PDBQ, publicly, Disability Benefit Questionnaire, followed by the reason the DBQ appears inauthentic. So I did a training back in February where I was outlining what made a DBQ insufficient, all right? So again, none of these slides that I showed you, the M21-1, I included the entire reference, okay? So go out and make sure you look at those. But I wanted you specifically to know what the VA employee is supposed to be doing if they deem your DBQ insufficient. Okay, let me explain this test again, all right? But the why. The why is we need to confirm if some of these VA employees are doing their job correctly. And this is how you hold their feet to the fire and confirming if they're doing it. You submit an actionable and sufficient DBQ, you get a call from a third-party C&P examiner requesting that you show up for an exam. You're like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Now, important, I am not saying not to go. This is the decision you have to make. I'm just giving you the information, so if you decide not to go like I did, now you can bag it up, okay? So you get that call and you decide not to go. Nope, I'm not going. Tell the VA to rate with the evidence of record. You turn around and call 800-827-1000 and say, hey, I just got a call from a VA third-party contractor reporting for the exam. First, I would just like for it to be known that I'm not reporting for the exam. I want the rater to rate with the evidence of record, meaning the DBQ and nexus statement that you sent in, okay? They annotate that. Oh yeah, okay, we got that annotated. Is there anything I can help you with? Sure. Are you in VBMS? They should say yes. But if not, say, hey, can you look in VBMS under the notes section to see if the VSR or RVSR left a permanent note as to the reason they felt my DBQ and nexus statement was insufficient per those references I just gave you. Hopefully the answer is yes. And if the answer is yes, just say, hey, can you give me those reasons, and be prepared to write them down. But I'm afraid, and this is just me, that this VSR or RVSR didn't do it. Either way, leave me a comment with the answer. That's how we're going to test it. Okay, now here's the nugget. Put a 1 in the comment section if you're still watching. Every other veteran that logged off, they're going to have problems with this claim because they didn't watch this entire video. Let's just say the VSR, the RVSR didn't put a permanent note. Okay? They didn't put a permanent note in there. You've already confirmed this. And they denied your claim because you didn't go to the exam. They're going to say you failed to report. Here's what you do on your high-level review. You ask the DRO the same thing. According to several M21 manual references, and I have those, it states in the notes section, the VSR or RVSR is supposed to put a permanent note in VBMS in the notes section. I confirmed on this date that they didn't do it. And if you know that DBQ and nexus is actionable and sufficient, woo, here's the nugget, people. Can you go ahead and rate this based off of difference of opinion? I just did a video on that. There it is, people. But we want to put them to the test to see if they're doing their job. Now, I had to craft this, all right, and go out and do some research and see how I wanted you all to do this test. Leave me a comment, because not only are your comments going to help me know what these VA employees are doing, it's going to help your fellow veteran. Okay, it's going to help your fellow veteran. We got to band together, people. We got to educate each other, and we have to hold these VA employees' feet to the fire that are not following their own regulations. Now, it's not all of them, it's some of them, and some of them can become most of them, and we don't want that to happen. So start calling in. I have over 126,000 subscribers. So everybody that sees this and you fall into this scenario where you submitted that actionable sufficient DBQ, take the test and let me know. Also share with other veterans that you know that did the same thing that you did. Okay? Because we all want to know. All right? So I cannot wait to hear some of y'all's comments. That being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veteran. Thank you.